You have led both NED roles and also executive position across multiple organizations. What are some of the hard truths that leaders hesitate to bring up in the boardroom conversations? How a leader initiate a change and lead a change. Now, transformation is a big buzzword. Many organizations talk about transformation, but only very few truly deliver it. In your experience, how has your understanding of leadership has evolved since the first time that you stepped into senior roles?
Everybody wants to be the leader. It's not cut out for everybody. It really isn't. And as you mature, you realise, no, that's not what I don't want the responsibility. I don't want the expectation. Leadership is easy when everything's going well. When it goes badly, it's a very lonely position. Nobody starts as a leader. They build their career as I'm good at engineering, or I'm good at program management, or I'm good at sales or marketing, whatever it may be. You get promoted because you're good as an individual, and then you become a manager. And a manager is all about then leading a team and about consistency.
What separates the organizations that successfully transform from others that struggle?
Change for the benefit of the people. Don't change just for the benefit of the company. So change is done with people and for people, not to people. When it's done to people, they tend to resist. I certainly did. Are we doing it the best way? Are we using the best technology? Are we using the best process? Have we got the best people? What does the market want today? And you've got that, what's called healthy paranoia. Am I the best company I can be with the resources I've got? It's very hard to motivate people, but I'm going to be successful doing what I did.
Hi, John. Firstly, I wanted to thank you for the opportunity that you've given. Thanks for participation. Thank you so much. And John, I would like to ask, when you look back at your journey, how has your understanding of leadership has evolved since the first time that you stepped into senior roles?
I think you've got to remember, nobody starts as a leader. They build their career as being essentially an individual contributor. I'm good at engineering, or I'm good at program management, or I'm good at sales or marketing, whatever it may be. And your whole career is, you get promoted because you're good as an individual, and then you become a manager. And a manager is all about then leading a team and about consistency. Can we do it? And it's sort of taking consistency into the business. We do it this way as a company, and we want to do it consistently. And it's a very sort of short time frame. And then leadership is the next level. So I believe you grow into leadership, and you also benefit from maturity. As when I started my career, I was very self-centered. It was all about me. And then you become a manager, and it's all about we as the team. And then as a leader, you realize it's about you and they, because you've got all the authority, but none of the power. The power is all in the organization and the people. So I think early leaders think it's about hierarchy. It's not. It's about transitioning from I'm the most important person to they are the most important people, and my job is to unlock their potential.
Great. So when we talk about early days and the evolution of leadership, in the understanding of the leadership as well, early days in your career, did you have any leadership beliefs that you today see totally different?
I think you do start with leadership is about hierarchy, and I've got all the authority. I can make all the decisions, and I must be the smartest person. And when you get there, you realise you're not the smartest person. Your job is to unlock the potential of people. So I think there's that. Everybody wants to be the leader. It's not cut out for everybody. It really isn't. And as you mature, you realise, no, that's not what I don't want the responsibility. I don't want the expectation. And leadership is easy when everything's going well. When it goes badly, it's a very lonely position, because you've got to have the answers at the right time, and you've got to be comfortable making those decisions with imperfect data. So I do think leadership you grow into, and I think it's also situationally led. I use the example, God forbid, if anything happened in our office, I'd be the worst person to be in charge, because I'm not medically trained and I'd panic and I'd give the wrong advice. But somebody who, in any of the office who's been sort of CPR trained and been first aid, they would assume the leadership. So I think it is situationally led. Who's the right leader for the situation, and then give them the support. So sometimes you're leading, sometimes you're following.
Well, that's very well put, John. Because you mentioned about the situations, this one thing comes to my mind is changes. How a leader initiate a change and lead a change. Now, transformation is a big buzzword. Many organizations talk about transformation, but only very few truly deliver it. In your experience, what separates the organizations that successfully transform from others that struggle?
I think the first thing is you've got to have a case. You've got to present the case for change. Transformation is change under a nice professional business term. And transformation usually is evolution. We're evolving to something versus a revolution, which is a lot quicker, and people now call pivot. We pivot to something, but it means we were in the wrong direction, we've got to change directions. So I think from my experience, first of all, you've got to baseline the current status, and you've got to decide what's the future state you want. And then you build a plan. You build a gap analysis, you look at what do I need to get from where I am to where I want to, in people, in process, in technology. How long will it take? How much will it cost? And if you don't have a budget for those, a people budget, a time budget, and a financial budget, people talk transformation, but they actually go back to the way they've always worked. And that's why most of them fail.
The real changes and the way we execute have to
It
change.
is, but there's got to be
the
the easiest companies to change are where there's a burning platform. We've made a massive mistake, we've got the wrong product, or we've got a reputational damage. There is clear evidence to change. The hardest ones are the subtle changes, is we think we want to change because we're going, but what we're doing today is successful. So why should we change? There isn't a case for change. And people don't, technology is lovely, you and I know this. It's a lovely industry because it generally changes itself, and you've got to, if you are complacent, you'll die. And I love that because you're always looking for that. Are we doing it the best way? Are we using the best technology? Are we using the best process? Have we got the best people? What does the market want today? And you've got that, what's called healthy paranoia. Am I the best company I can be with the resources I've got? If you've not got that case for change or that compelling burning platform, it's very hard to motivate people because, but I'm going to be successful doing what I did last week and last month and last year.
And why do we need to
and
change?
why do I need to change?
Yeah.
So people talk change, but actually making change effective is hard. And I think the other bit for anybody is change for the benefit of the people. Don't change just for the benefit of the company. So change is done with people and for people, not to people. And when it's done to people, they tend to resist. I certainly did.
Now, when we talk about transformation, John, what happens is, especially with the huge transformation initiatives, obviously different teams across different geographies involved. When you personally lead, but you're yet to have all answers, but the organization expects certainty, how do you manage those kind of situations?
I think that's leadership. You have to give direction. You have to give direction to the shareholders because they own the company, it's their business. You have to give direction to the employees, you have to give direction to the customers and your suppliers and your partners. And at leadership, particularly in a technology world, we're working with imperfect data. So we've got to be comfortable making decisions. We can't wait for the decision to make itself. And I think that's probably one of the biggest gaps I see in younger leaders and emerging leaders is they get this sort of decision paralysis. I don't want to make a decision because it may be wrong.
I don't have the full information.
And I don't have the full information. And when I get the full when you get the full information, anybody can make the decision because it's logical.
Yeah.
But what's the cost of that indecision? So I think leadership is about judgment. So you and I work in a world where we have to be comfortable with grey information. It's not perfect, it's not black and white, it's grey. But based on our experience, based on our judgment, we're making this decision. Now I hasten to add, I don't always get the right decision. because I've made the decision for the right reasons. And I think that's the one bit I would give to anybody making that decision with imperfect data is, if you're making it for the right reasons and the right intent of, well, I thought it was good for my customers and I thought it was good for my business and it was the right decision based on what I knew at the time. As things came out, it became the wrong decision. I corrected it. The worst thing you can do is make no decision. Because everybody's looking for you for direction. To your point, to the question, I want some clarity, I want some stability. And that's why leadership can become quite lonely, because there's only you that wrestles with that decision, but you've got to make it.
This makes me think, is there a right or wrong decisions? Because decisions are made at any given point with the information what we have.
Correct.
Right?
And that's it. And if you put it through that lens, nobody can blame you.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean it's the right decision, but you made it for the right reasons.
At a given situation with the information what we have.
I mean, I used to work with the UK government, and we did, critical national infrastructure projects. And I remember the advice I was given is, don't know if you make the right decision or the wrong decision, but just think about it. This decision is going to be on the front page of a newspaper the day after. Are you happy with your parents reading that and saying you made the decision? And that's, for me, quite a good sort of check in my head of, okay, I don't have all the information, but am I making the right decision given the information for the right reasons? And if it's not, you're probably making the wrong decision because you're making it for your personal reasons or for political reasons or whatever the case may be. And I think decision making is about making the decision, living with it, executing it, correcting it when it's wrong. But it's also about reviewing and saying, is it the right decision based on what I now know? And owning it, When we accept people are imperfect, lives, I think society now expects you're going to make the right decision 100% of the time. If that's the case, we're not going to make decisions.
When we talk about future leaders, John, what do future leaders often tend to misunderstand about executive presence?
I think the people who've got the gravitas, executive presence, gravitas, are those people you listen to and you think, wow, they've synthesized the problem into my language so I can understand it. They make things relatable to me, not to the company, but to me as an employee of the company. And they drive me to action. They inspire me to do something that I didn't think I could do, or I didn't want to do, but I'm doing it for the right reasons because I'm part of a bigger system. So I think for people who want to be leaders, it's not always about what you say, it's about what I call active listening. If you can, most people in the company know where the problems are. As a leader, if you can become approachable and listen, all you're doing is unlocking some of the resources you got as an executive to the people that actually know the business better than you will ever know because they are actually living it every day. And it's about making those connections.
Thanks, John. Thank
Pleasure.
you so much.
No, I've
Thanks for
enjoyed
this
it.
conversation.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.